Hello everybody, my name is Benny and welcome to the Fool's Apprentice. So today I wanted to catch up on my studies with the elements. During my last video on the elements, I ended up showing you my journal, how I ended up putting the information in the journal, how I tried to make it look aesthetically pleasing, and some of you were very kind in the comments. I tend to be much harder on myself, especially when I compare myself to others, which I know you should never do, but it's human nature and it's one of the things that I do. But it's what I use to try to, improve my skills. So I've done a couple of things since the last time I posted a video on the elements. So I want to kind of go over a couple of things that I did. And also I want to try an exercise. It was just a thought that I had. And I don't know how it's going to work out. I haven't done it. I haven't practiced it. It's a concept, a thought of how this may work. And what I want to do is I just want to take one of the suits, ace through 10, just pull them out. And based on what I know, what I understand about the elements, see what I come up with. And so here we go. Let me flip the camera around and we'll get started. Well, welcome back. We are ready to go. So I have my tarot deck card that we're going to try to use in that practice at the end. I have this piece of paper I want to show you, my journal and my notes that I continued to use because I did find some additional resources that I'm going to link below and that way you have some places where you can go if you want to do some more research. So what I ended up doing is I remember the last time mentioning how I was really unhappy or I had thought about what I should have done is actually taken the symbol of the element and put it up in the top corner and written, a couple of sentences at least of each element plus some words. Now this I still utilize, and the way I'm utilizing this is I'm really using this as a visual reminder of the words. So when I study this, I do end up looking at the words and I repeat them, but what I'm doing also is I'm closing my eyes to imprint this image in my mind. And also, I will open my eyes again, look at the image, look at where particular words are, and then I'll close my mind and I'll try to really recall visually what the words are. So for example, I will look at the symbol and the word fire, and I will concentrate on the word passion and creativity. And then I will close my eyes and I will imagine the symbol, the triangle in red with the word fire, passion, and creativity right next to it. And then I open my eyes and then I go above and I do wild and unpredictable. And I try to recall this image as well. And then I close my eyes and so forth and so on until I feel that I've gotten the whole image in my mind. And I've been doing this with each one several times already. And I'm starting to feel comfortable in being able to see it in my mind. Sometimes I'll know that there's a word here or a word here in my mind, but I can't really see the word. So all I know is that for me, if I continue to do this process of learning the page, it eventually show up. So what I did was I went back and I did exactly what I thought I wanted to do. And I'm okay with it, actually. I have the symbol, I have air, and I have this note that it's in the mental plane. And I did this with all of them. So I have earth, material plane, fire, physical plane, water, emotional plane. So, and these are just reminders of where, what they represent holistically. So, and I did find the additional resources. One is by Bennabelle Wen. She has a wonderful website. I think her book is called Holistic Tarot. It's a really chunky book, more than I could, deal with at this point. But her website is phenomenal. And then there's Truly Teach Me Tarot. They also have a lot of information on the tarot that I think anybody, novice, intermediate, or expert, could use. And then, of course, Biddy Tarot, she's been around for quite some time. And she also has a section on the elements. So, what did I write on here? So, from Biddy Tarot, I took a lot from her when it comes to these little paragraphs, but not only her. So I got a lot of these from Biddy Tarot, the sentences. It wasn't the only resource I used, but I did pull a lot from her. Excuse me. So what I wrote down is air is untangible and unseen, but also constant movement. Air can be still and unnoticed. Be a breeze or a fierce wind, it is powerful. And so the unnoticed part is like, wind can be very light and it's just like this white noise in the background that you really don't notice, but there could be a very light breeze. Or it could be very fierce, like the wind of a hurricane. It could topple things over, it could flip things over. And so I have this image in my mind of, how severe things can be to how minimal they can be. And then I just have some additional power words. And then I added some more from what I originally had. And I suspect what's going to happen is I'm going to eventually, as I progress in my learning, more words will come up. And then I just have another thing at the bottom that says air uses the rational sign of the mind, uses logic and objective critique. Like air, our thoughts are invisible, swift, and in flux, which I love. So it just gives me a concept of like what air is like. And I did this with all of them. I did this with earth. Earth is tactile, earthy, and tangible. Earth is grounded, stable, and fertile. Earth represents practicality. Earth is not concentrated with possibilities. I love that. And that makes sense to me as I've gotten to learn what earth means. And at the bottom it says earth is an essential matter. It is solid and flexible and concrete. Which, if you think about earth and worldly things, I get that. And then I have fire, the physical plane. Fire is hot, wild, unpredictable, and energetic. It can be creative in helping us cook or make tools. It can be destructive and powerful, like a devastating forest fire. And what I like about that, it just shows me both sides of what fire can be. It can be something that can be utilized to our benefit, like a campfire on a cold night, or it could be something totally destructive, like the wildfires in Australia that killed all those animals and the koalas. Oh my God. I followed that for a while, but that's off topic. And and then I have again my words, and this one's a little longer, but like I said, I expect that I'll end up adding more. And here at the bottom, what I wrote is fire is dynamic and does not stay still. Fire is infectious wherever it goes. Fire is passionate and all consuming. And I could think of that with like someone instantly falling in love, having a passion for another human being, really being enthralled with them. And it just consumes you. It consumes your every thought. You wake up in the morning thinking about them. You go to work thinking about them. And you come home thinking about them. And you go to sleep thinking about them. And sometimes you dream about them. So that all-encompassing feeling. And then there's that part where it's all-consuming out in nature. Like we talked about the forest fire. And so I could see both those sides. And it just really gives me a clear image when I'm looking at the cards. Well, at least that's what I think is going to happen. When I'm looking at the cards, it'll give me this idea of, the range of how fire can present itself. And then with water, it's in the emotional plane. Water is fluid and in flow, but is also very powerful and formative. It can be soft like a wave on a beach or powerful and destructive like a tsunami. I think that's great. I could see that in my mind very, very clearly. And then I wrote down here at the bottom, water is life-giving, free-flowing. It soothes, cleanses, and is reflective. Emotional balance equals content with life. Cup runneth over equals joy and happiness. So I found that and I really liked it. And so I suspect that I'll be able to use that. How yet, I don't know. But another thing that I thought about when it comes to water is how it can change based on how, or let me rephrase that, it can be transformed. So we have liquid, we have mist, we have ice, and so all the way the things how water can change. It's very adaptable. It can even fill any space you put it in. If it takes the shape of a cup, it takes the shape of a vase, it can take the shape of the ground in a puddle, in a lake, in the ocean. And so I find that very interesting. And I'm going to be curious to see how that actually plays out, as I get to learn the deck. So, just so you know, you'd figured that this would be easy to do for me, but I had my stressors. So, what happened was I ended up doing fire. So, I ended up doing fire over here on this side. It was here. And I messed up. I ended up writing down the water paragraph and then the fire paragraph. Unfortunately, I noticed it before I did this video. And so I had to take the page out. So I took the page out. And then I made another mistake and then another mistake. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting frustrating. But the good thing about it is that it just kept me engaged. It kept me thinking about the elements, thinking about the concepts and, the words associated with those elements. So at the end, it was all good. As you can see, I had to pull a page and it just ended up with a blank. So I'll put some kind of picture there right now. And then I found another website. I don't know if I'm going to say this right. It's called the Labyrinthus. Oh my God, that's horrible. It's spelled Labrynthos. I will put a link in the description. So I was talking about Tom Benjamin, grid on the elements, which I said I would go back to later because I found quite fascinating. Well, on this website, they had something very, very similar, and they ended up writing out. For example, fire and fire is a perfect match. So here it talks if the same suits come together, each card strengthens one another, which I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And so, like, if you have fire and air, they complement each other. And in this website, they talk about how they support each other. And if you have water and earth, here he has water and earth, they complement each other. Again, here they support each other. And if you have something like air and earth, where is earth? There's a conflict. And here they talk about how it weakens each other. So I thought that was really, really cool. And really wanted to share that with you. And actually, there's a lot more information in there. I didn't really have the space and I didn't want to start going down a rabbit hole. And next thing you know, I got 3 or 4 pages. But I wanted to make sure that I presented this to you in case this was something you were really interested in. So that's what I've been doing. And I think it's coming out okay. And so now what I want to try to do, and I don't know if this is going to go well or not, but it's an idea I had, so I want to give it a go. I wanted to get a deck that had colors that I really liked, that really spoke to me. It's the same imagery, it's just the tone of the colors are just significantly different, and they kind of fit my personality, and I like looking at them. So this is a this is the Neo Rider Tarot Collection. And there's 3 other ones, but this is the one that I like. And this one's blue. And in the inside it says, let's enjoy the journey of exploring more possibilities in the tarot world. Ivy Fang. I like that. And let me tell you, this box is really, really a good box. And it has gold gilding on it, which I think is really nice. I know that this box is gonna last forever, unless I do something to it. And then the guidebook is pretty good as well. It's nice and thick, and it has this rose petal finish, which I think is really really sweet. Um, and then on the inside, they have a page. They have two pages, upright for each card and reverse for each card. So let's go with the Fool, since that's what this channel is called, basically. So the Fool, keywords: innocence, freedom, beginning, trust, youth, new beginning. And then it says, when you see the Fool in a reading, it is telling you to trust yourself. This is the beginning of a new journey with a hint of innocence. Anything is possible now. You might know the saying, don't count your eggs before they're hatched. Well, it's true. Just bring them along on your journey. You can always count them later. There will be plenty of surprises over the horizon, so expect the unexpected. This is far from a bad thing. Trust your heart to guide you on this path of the unknown. So many positive beginnings are in store for you. I love that. I think that's great. So, let's see. Which ones do we want to go with? Let's go. Well, they're the first ones, so let's go with the Pentacles. And I'm going to leave out the court cards because I don't know very much about them, honestly. So now I have watched so many videos that I do know some of them, sorta. And so, like, if I'm spot on for one reason or another, it's because I've seen enough videos that either subconsciously or consciously, I just remember them. So here we go. So if I recall, aces really are about the beginning of something. This is a starting point. This is also, the aces kind of encompass what the possibility of this suit is. Therefore, also the element of earth. And here, when I think about the element with the two of coins, it really doesn't say much to me other than maybe there's a balance or an imbalance of something going on. Maybe that, things are ongoing and will move infinitely towards the future, regardless of which way it goes. But that's all I get, really. So, here it looks like someone is needing help. Someone is providing answers. There's an exchange, maybe, of ideas that is going on here. But without knowing much more about the suits, that's all I'm really getting. Okay, so on this one, I see someone that is really holding on tight to whatever earthly matter they have, either money, career, a relationship. They seem to be all encompassed in this thing that they're coveting, and they're grounded in it. And that's what I get. That, like, the feet are here, they're grounded. They're coveting whatever that item is, and because it's below and above, it just seems like it's all encompassing. So that's what I get there. Now, I don't know why, but this is one of my favorite cards. I don't know what it is about this particular card that touches me. Maybe it's my own history growing up and learning how to fend for myself and get to a place where I can do for myself. But I have always found this card to be very emotional. And what I see is that people are doing without. People don't have the material things they need to take care of themselves. And it looks like it's a stained glass window, so they're probably going to church to ask for assistance, to sit with their spirituality, ask for guidance and help from above. But for me, this literally is, this might be one of my favorite cards, if not my favorite card, to be honest. It really just does speak to me. So here's this guy. Looks like he's been working a lot, and he's being patient as, like, if this were, let's say, food, he was growing things, vegetables, whatever. It looks like he's been working really hard, and it's paying off. It's not ready. He still needs um, to wait for this to completely blossom. And so he's a hard worker, waiting, biding his time. Oh, the cards were mixed up. So let's go back to the six. So the six looks like somebody who is generous with the things that they have, who is willing to offer because they have an abundance of things. And it looks like, because they have the scale here, that they're fair in how they provide things to other people. It also can mean, on the other side, is that you need to be humble. You need to ask for what you need. You need to go to the people that can provide you with the resources you need. Something as simple as shelter or clothing or water. Um, and so, and then also maybe being patient, having to wait your turn with this guy right here. God, there's a lot that I see here, but that's basically it. Now, the Eight of Pentacles, what I'm seeing is a laborer who's working hard to make his product. And so if I think about the earthly things, it is somebody who maybe starts working out because they're physically unfit or they're ill. Maybe this is somebody who's hard at work, ready for a promotion. Maybe somebody's starting a new business. Maybe somebody is working towards a goal, whatever that goal may be. Um, and it looks like they've done a lot of work already, or it is a lot work that they have to do. So it can go either way for me. Okay, so I know a little bit about this card. I think it deals with prosperity and already being affluent. And it's, for me, like taking the time to enjoy the things around you, a time to settle and relax. Like that old adage, take time to smell the roses. That's what I'm getting from this card. And then the last card. Oh my gosh, what do I get out of this card? Uh, I honestly don't know what I'm getting from this card when it comes to Earth. Maybe that everything you've worked for has finally come to be. You have a beautiful home, you got two dogs, you have children, a grandchild, you have money and savings. Maybe, all the things that you have dreamt of, you know, materially have come true for you. And so I don't know how accurate that was. As you can see, some of these I really struggled with. Like I struggled with this one, the Two of Pentacles. I only went by memory about what this card means, so I still have to work on that one. I have no clue what this really means. I haven't. I think I have a memory of what this means, and so that's why I was able to speak to it. This one I just spoke to from me and what this card means, and I think that this card will always mean that for me because that's how it speaks to me. And I think I did okay with this card. I think I interpreted it okay. I think I have a little bit of memory from watching videos on what this card basically means, and I think I was able to pull that out. Same thing with this one. Same with this. This one I had no clue, so I took a shot in the dark. So that is how I ended up working with the elements. And I thought this exercise was actually quite interesting. It's something that I think I'm going to do with all the others on my own. And I'll probably record it for myself just so I can go back and see how spot on I was or how far off I was as I get to know this better. So I really appreciate you coming by and spending time with me. I know everyone's time is valuable, and the fact that you come to see where I'm at, I really truly appreciate. Well, with that, I wish you a good day, and I hope that you got something out of this video. If you have any feedback, any comments, anything that you think might be helpful, please put it down in the comments. I will respond to everyone. Thank you very much, and you have a good night. Goodbye.